In unimaginable loss, a family seeks truth, closure, and justice.
Making sure it was very light because your natural beauty was worth more than any makeup product money could buy.
No, I
I
didn't.
miss you every single day, and it's left a hole in my heart from the day you've been gone. Your innocence was taken from you, and since clearly that wasn't enough for a certain someone, so was your life. You were the bravest little girl I've ever met, full of love, light, laughter, and as any positive thing I could think of, you were all of those things. I'm so blessed to have spent 13 years with someone so wonderful, and you're going to live on through all of this. Not because of what happened to you, because that didn't define who you were.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make sure my future kids know who you are, and make sure my grandkids know who you are, and so on.
This one's for.
I sit here before everyone, and all I can say is that despite what anyone thinks they know, you were so loved by each and every one of your family members, and I know you left this world knowing that. I know it would pain you to see what people have to say about your loved ones, but what I think of it all is that, and what I'd want you to think up in heaven is that it's all just noise. And I find comfort in the fact that we, your family, know you were beyond loved and beyond cared for. I'm so sorry we found out too late. But despite everything that was happening to you behind closed doors, you still remained one of the happiest human beings I've ever met. Someone who loved us deeply and made us all smile. Trying to find light in this horrible situation is very difficult, but one thing I am grateful for is that your last day on this earth was everything you wanted and more. You got the birthday you asked for, your best friends were able to be with you, we cooked the food you specifically asked for, and overall I have the memory of sitting outside by my pool looking at you and your friends and just thinking, I'm so glad she's having a great time. And look at how grown up she is.
You know what? Maybe they didn't have Jen Soto because Jen Soto would have just victim blamed anyway, right? Maybe she would have just said, well, if she wouldn't have had ADHD, she wouldn't have forgot her phone that day and then that wouldn't have happened. Well, she didn't show up at school or she was too much to handle, so I had to let Stephan. I mean, I don't think that she would have anything nice to say anyway, so I'm not surprised that Jen didn't show up, but I'm not surprised she didn't have anything to say. Nessa from the UK says, Jay, a question. Can we have the picture of Maddie twirling in her dress by the lake at her birthday party, not to hear Stephan's last? I have pictures. I will put that up at the end. I'll put it up again. I don't know if I have that one that I can find, but yeah, I have a nice picture slide to run through. I will do that.
She is. She's welcoming into such an amazing young woman. I could go on forever, but I just want to leave this here by saying I love you so much, and I miss you endlessly. Everything I do from now on, any accomplishments, any decisions I make, anything that happens in my life, I'm going to do it for you and in your honor. I love you, Madeline Sophia Soto, and I hope you're resting peacefully now.
I hope so too. I wish Stephan didn't say anything. It would have been better had he just shut up. Or if he would have said, I'm sorry for doing those vile things to you. I'm sorry I abused you. I'm sorry. Anything. Not she gave me joy. I just don't get it.
And then spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
Natalie Rosero, Nathalie. Thank you, Your Honor, for having me here today. I've known the family for over 15 years. I was best friends with Maddie's aunt and was roommates with Maddie and her mom during the time her life was ended. All of our kids are the same age, so we always tried to keep them united and spend as many holidays together. I have years worth of beautiful pictures, birthdays, Christmas, and Easters we all spent together.
I don't know.
Those are the moments I tried to hold on to as I stand here today. I'm here to express what the past year and a half has been like in my experience.
I bet.
We found out that Maddie went missing. Life has never been the same. Those first 48 hours, we set out to look for her. We spread flowers, went knocking on door to door, going to every business on John Young Parkway from Kissimmee to Sand Lake, asking for the public's help. All while seeing my best friend and her family have emotional breakdowns, feeling completely helpless and terrified for her, thinking how could anyone just take her? It turns out we spent almost 3 days looking in the wrong location because Stephan lied to us about where he last saw her.
Like what Thomas said.
That's the first time in my life I've ever felt true hate for anyone. The following days were filled with more sadness and distraught. We went from searching for a missing person to looking for a body. I had been searching for her as if my son was missing, so it was very difficult to accept that. We spent the rest of the week canvassing St. Cloud until they eventually found her body. Although there was a moment of relief that at least her body was found, it was the last sense of relief I've felt since that day. I was confident I had the power of discernment, but I couldn't even see the evil living in the same house.
I think this is another one. I just heard it, but you can tell me if it's the Soto family. Is it another one of the family members or a close family member? They didn't really name them and where you could see it. So I know it's a family member, but is it a cousin? Anybody that was in court? Is it her aunt? Who is it? Family friend?
As details of the sexual abuse and her death came to light, you
Roommate,
questioned
okay.
everything.
Roommate with the
I
son?
even questioned my own faith.
We didn't hear
And
back.
when a full night's sleep became a luxury I could not afford. I was too anxious to sleep, constantly wanting to wake up from a nightmare. It wasn't until I started wishing death on him that I realized I needed help. I started going to therapy to try to deal.
So listen, this gives you a good understanding of what was happening in the house. They didn't know it. Jen must have covered all of this stuff up. If that's a roommate with the son and Angelica Negro spoke, the one that Stephan assaulted by taking pictures under the door, that means that nobody heard anything. Nobody knew to look for it being wrong. Jen made it so normal, and they grew Maddie so well before anyone moved in that nobody knew anything. Nobody heard anything. I hear a lot of people saying, how could those roommates be so close and not hear anything? Well, that's because it was by design that way, guys. Jen Soto covered it up and let Stephan be the bonus dad and be the guy that people thought was a stepdad. That's why. So yeah, you're right. Nobody had a clue. Listen to what they're saying. There's no way they had a clue or had anything to do with it, or they would have grabbed him by the balls and said, listen, mother, and this would have stopped a long time ago. But nobody knew about it. And Jen and Stephan did what they needed to cover it up.
With the grief and anger of losing Maddie the way we did. I also had to navigate my son's emotions as he finds out the cruelty that exists in this world. Holidays are not the same. The void is loud. It's hard to trust people. I am very guarded. I am hoping that when everything here is said and done, there can be some type of closure, even though Maddie's life can never be replaced. That is the only reason I am here today. As decisions are made, please keep in mind that she wasn't even my child, and I feel this way. I cannot imagine the pain, trauma, and deception that Maddie's family has experienced. I do not wish this pain and suffering on any other child or family. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Stephanie online would like to address the board.
Yeah. Yep, sure did. And she said, it's okay. They're playing video games. Jen Soto made it okay. If Jen Soto made it okay, then everybody else took her cue. She was Maddie's mom.
Stephanie, you may unmute your microphone.
All right, now listen. Listen, before we get started, guys, this is Stephanie Soto. Stephanie Soto is allegedly where Jen Soto has been staying the whole time. When we saw that footage at her door, at Jen's door, when the police came and she was high as a kite that night, and she showed the officers Maddie's phone and talked about her and Maddie having a fight weeks before, and she pointed out where Stephanie Soto lived. She lived right around the corner. All right. Thomas Karras says Jay's trying to blame the school with the BS. That's why they implemented the new policy days after Maddie was found. That I agree. I think Jen knew the whole time what was happening.
Affected your family.
And I'm glad the school did that.
Can you tell the court your first and last name?
Exactly. Nobody listened. Deb told.
Yes, I can hear you now.
She told Stephan too.
Okay, hi. Sorry.
The new policy is they call in early in the morning, like 10 or 11.
Light?
This is Stephanie Soto. where Jen Soto probably was.
In my life, but I would never be able to describe with her outgoing personality and her infectious smile, her infectious laugh.
Yep.
She was so kind-hearted
I agree.
and loving. Now that she's gone, everything's
One of the hands. Thank you, Nina Drew, for the $1.99. The Woody Allen situation, guys. I hope that haunts her forever. Yes, the audio's bad. We're gonna do our best. I don't even think they have. Let's see if there's subtitles. All right.
silence where her laughter used to be is nothing. The hole in my heart is bottomless, and the pain is indescribable.
All right, this is Stephanie Soto, where Jen's been living. It's speculated that Jen was in the background listening to this. That's why on speaker. Same thing when they called 911. Jen Soto was in the background in the 911 call. Now, Teresa K, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. You'll also be entered into a drawing for a Foxy box and a giveaway. Why didn't Stephan Stern say he missed Jen, his girlfriend? Because I think in his mind, he was with Maddie. He had groomed her for years, and that was his possession, was Maddie. All right. That's what I believe. Tommy says sometimes my dad would get a call in the morning and the afternoon, and if I missed. Yes, they changed it to early morning calls. They don't call after school is over at 4:00. They call between 10 and 11 in the morning, right? Depending on Florida. Here in California, they call first thing in the morning. If they're not in first period, after 10, they'll call in.
Stephan's life has been shattered. What we've endured and what we will continue to endure for the rest of our lives is kind of pain that I do not wish on anyone. No family should have to lose a loved one in this horrible manner.